Good morning. It really fills my heart to see so many of us able to safely gather in one space. So thank all of you for coming out to join the VFW Post 782 and its auxiliary as we lead yet again a memorial service in honor of our fallen service members who lost their lives while performing their military duties. VFW Post 782 continues nearly a 100-year tradition of hosting a Memorial Day commemoration in Burlington. This year, however, the Memorial Day events will shift just a little bit to make room to acknowledge the loss of life throughout the Burlington community during the current pandemic. VFW Post 782 Veterans offers our neighbors in this community an opportunity to share this holiday with us, a holiday of remembrance, as we pay homage to those who lost their lives to COVID-19. In just a few minutes, Mayor Weinberger will offer his remarks, and he will extend an invitation to family and friends present today to take part in the ceremony of remembrance of Burlingtonians taken too soon. We will also hear from Colonel Eric Gagnon, a key leader in the Vermont National Guard. Colonel Gagnon knows firsthand the impact of loss connected to military service and during the pandemic in our brave little state. Also throughout the ceremony, you will hear musical selections thoughtfully chosen by musician and longtime friend of VFW Post 782, Mr. Larry Soltz. Today's ceremony will conclude with a final roll call to recognize the loss of fellow VFW Post 782 members, and then the playing of taps. I also believe it is important to mention that this event had no template. Its origins took root in the hearts of veterans and in the hearts of city officials. This event would not have taken shape without the tireless efforts of Brian Lowe, a former U.S. Navy sailor and key leader in the mayor's office. It is also helpful for you to know that it is difficult to adequately express in words what so many of us are feeling. So VFW Post 782 in the city of Burlington offers a bit of symbolism to help you to understand how important this moment is to all of us in this community. If you will direct your gaze towards the Howard William Plant Memorial Site, you will see 14 mini U.S. flags standing strong within its perimeter. The 14 flags represent the Vermont National Guard members who paid the ultimate sacrifice in support of the global war on terrorism. We owe a tremendous amount of gratitude to the 14 brave Vermonters and countless others who served in the military or still serving. They're still serving in our armed forces. In part, our commitment to military service is about protecting our freedoms at home. This tribute to the fallen 14 will remain on display throughout Flag Day, or through Flag Day, standing guard over all contents within the memorial site. Also today, you may connect with my veteran family of VFW Post 782 and our auxiliary members. If you need a hand, we are willing to hold it. We know all too well what it means to have an unexpected death in your family, in your life. We will do our best to honor the military and veteran community and our Burlington neighbors this Memorial Day. Our genuine hope is that our time together represents another opportunity for healing and strengthening community connections. Mayor Weinberger, thank you for your ongoing support of the veteran community. It has been a measurable difference to hear from you directly or through your staff. And thank you, sir, for leading us into today's ceremony.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank each of you for joining us today, and especially the veterans and service members who are here with us. It is a privilege to join you on Memorial Day to reflect on the sacrifices of our dedicated military service members in Burlington, Vermont, and across the nation. Burlington and Vermont has a proud culture and tradition of military service. As mayor, it is my honor to see the positive impact of that service each and every day and in every part of the city. I see it in the contributions of many city employees, like the Parks Department's own Candace Holbrook, who serve our community with the same courage, honor, dedication that motivated their decisions to defend their country and community. I see it in the presence of so many Vermont Guard representatives in our community, serving as coaches, organizational leaders, mentors, mothers and fathers. And I saw it a lot during the pandemic when many people like Al Bellucci, a former Vermont National Guard officer, stepped forward to organize the COVID response for the Burlington Housing Authority and the thousands of residents that organization is responsible for housing. Among a Burlington community that I believe is extraordinary, our military service members, veterans, and their families are exemplary. In them, we can see a model of courage, dedication, and selflessness. In them, we can find inspiration to become part of something bigger than ourselves. And today, on Memorial Day, we take part in tradition by remembering and honoring those members of the military who gave their lives for their country. This is not a moment of distant or abstract loss. We have lost many Vermonters over the last 20 years in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. Many here today have lost a loved one or a friend. As we just heard, there are 14 large flags flying around this memorial, and I believe Colonel Gagnon will speak more to those losses in a moment. And so the names of these foreign battlefields need to be repeated and remembered. Fallujah and Ramadi, Kirkuk and Baghdad, Helmand and Korangal. Many members of VFW Post 782, the Howard Plant Post, also serve in the Gulf War, Vietnam, Korea, and the world wars before those conflicts. To all our veterans, and especially to their families, thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. This year, as I reflect on the history of contributions of our service members through times of peace and war, I'm reminded how, again, during a time of great uncertainty and risk, our own Vermont National Guard has stepped forward to support our community with outstanding, tenacious, and enduring commitment. On hot days and frigid days, at great risk to themselves, or in the tedious but vital administrative work at test sites, vaccination sites, hospitals, and food deliveries, the Guard has helped blunt some of the worst impacts of a pandemic that is now running unchecked across many countries of the world. While thankfully the pandemic appears to be nearing the end here in Vermont, over the last 16 months we have experienced great loss. I am very appreciative to Post Commander Michelle Carver and the rest of the Howard Plant Post leadership that requested that as a community we both honor and remember those in the military who gave their lives to this nation as well as to pay respect to those we have lost to the pandemic and their families. It is fitting and proper that we should do this. Even with the great efforts of the Guard and many others, our incredible healthcare workers and frontline workers, wonderful neighbors who sacrificed so much over the past year, and even with the Herculean efforts, nursing and doctors in long-term care facilities and in nursing homes undertook, we still saw many people struggle with the coronavirus, many hospitalized, and most tragically, we have lost 63 Burlingtonians to COVID-19 so far. Each neighbor we lost had much more to contribute. They had stories to tell, wisdom to impart, and humor to share. Each member of our community is irreplaceable, and the loss of their life is immeasurable. Please pause with me for a moment of silence to contemplate that loss, as a community will be doing more to permanently mark and remember the hard losses of this terrible year. At the same time we remember this loss, we also know that we are nearing the end of a period in our history that will be marked not only by grief, but also by a spirit of resilience. My memories of this time will be of the losses we endured, but also of the incredible things that we've accomplished together in the name of service and in the collective effort that has kept Burlington one of the safest cities in America throughout the pandemic. This resilience and creativity was embodied during some of the hardest days of the pandemic by the example set by our VFW post. Our VFW members reopened their doors for a warming station to house those without shelter, providing food, toiletries, clothing, and most importantly, community. To those without another place to turn during an otherwise dark winter here in Burlington. To Post Commander Michelle Caver, the VFW leadership, thank you. I know that as we move forward from this pandemic together, each month and year that passes will bring a sense of collective triumph and will mark a mournful milestone for each of among us who lost a loved one to this tragic event. Today, with the VFW, we will honor this loss with a flag planting. On either side of the memorial are veterans holding flags that we will plant today in honor of the 63 members of our community. The VFW is prepared to plant these flags, and if you are in attendance today and lost someone during COVID-19, we invite you to step forward during the bugle solo that starts after I speak to plant a flag. At the conclusion of the ceremony today, the VFW and city team will move and replant all the flags within this memorial space. As we prepare to plant these flags, I would like to thank you for being with us today to honor the lives of our service members and the neighbors we lost to COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for helping who was able and willing to place those markers at this monument to remember the Burlingtonians who lost their life to COVID-19. Colonel Eric Gagnon is currently assigned as the Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations for the Vermont Army National Guard. He is a logistics branch officer with nearly 29 years of service in both the active duty Army and the Vermont Army National Guard. Colonel Gagnon has held a variety of command assignments to include assignment as the commander of the Joint Task Force Chameleon in support of Vermont's pandemic response. As the leader of the joint team, he oversaw efforts of Vermont Army and Air National Guard service members as they performed a variety of medically focused missions, ranging from designing, building, and staffing the alternate healthcare facility located at the Essex County Fairgrounds, to augmenting the state's COVID testing and contact tracing capabilities. Colonel Gagnon, thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate your presence, especially since many folks have not had an opportunity to see one of our brave Vermont Army National Guard or Air National Guard members, and so your presence is special for many of us.
Good morning. Thank you. Mayor Weinberger, Michelle, thank you for inviting me to join this group today. It's an extreme honor to represent the Vermont National Guard, to just share a few words of how we link Memorial Day to the service that each of us provides. Welcome to today's ceremony to remember the ultimate sacrifices Vermont service members have made in the name of duty, honor, and country. President John F. Kennedy once said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." Today we honor our fallen heroes, those brave men and women who possess the pride, courage, and dedication to selflessly serve our nation when called upon. Vermont National Guard women and men have served proudly and distinctly in every major conflict our nation has faced. They ask for little, yet they inspire so much. Through their selfless service, they portray the values and ideals on which this country was founded. As Kennedy said, the highest appreciation we can provide is to live by the ideals of those that have gone before us. This past year has provided the National Guard a variety of unforeseen challenges, including civil unrest across the nation, massive wildfires, hurricanes, and COVID-19. The Vermont National Guard has supported the state since March of last year, responding to COVID, deployed over 80 airmen overseas, supported a peaceful inauguration, and have now deployed almost all of 950 Vermont Army soldiers in support of 3 different combatant commands. In every instance, our Guard members have honored their predecessors by stepping up and tackling every new challenge head-on with professionalism and dedication. We can all take pride in having been a part of such a tremendous effort. This year has been challenging for all Americans and Vermonters as we continue to battle COVID. There are few that have not been affected by the virus, whether they have battled it personally or had a friend or family member impacted. Today, we also remember those whom we lost to COVID, the nearly 250 Vermonters, many from communities right here in Burlington, who, like those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in battle, were taken from us too early. This year has demanded sacrifices from all of us in our efforts to battle the virus. Collectively, we have learned the importance of supporting one another through grief, anxiety, or depression, while navigating new and unforeseen challenges. In many ways, this mirrors the sacrifices made by these Guard men and women who serve their country and state. These are part-time soldiers and airmen whose lives are deeply entwined with their community, where they live, work, celebrate, and mourn with their families, neighbors, and coworkers. When they don the uniform and deploy in support of their nation, it is not just the families that feel the loss. It is felt by the entire community in the form of a missing employee, coach, church leader, teacher, mentor, or friend. I want to thank those in the communities who have stepped in this year and assisted families and friends that have felt lost most acutely. For many of us, family is the rock upon which we stand, and whether the loss has come in the form of a lost loved one to COVID or a deployed service member, or both, none of us can do this alone. Let me close with a passage from a speech given years ago by General George W. Casey Jr., referencing a British memorial in Burma, which read, "When you go home, tell them of us, and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today." So today, pause for a moment and remember not just those who have made possible your tomorrows, but also those whom we lost here at home. And from the memory of these honored fallen, let us recommit ourselves to never forget the sacrifices of them and of their families. And let us resolve to renew our commitment to the values and ideals that have made this nation what it is today, the greatest nation in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry, for your beautiful contributions to this event. This is my first time hearing going home, and I think it's one that I will keep with me and want to hear time and time again. Today is about honoring those who are not forgotten and still hold a special place in our hearts and minds. And as we move towards the conclusion of our time together in honor of Memorial Day, I want to include a modified version of a special military tradition that recognizes its members who are lost. Lost on the battlefield or in pursuit of their military duties. VFW Post 782 lost 5 members last year, and many of us did not have a chance to honor their life due to pandemic restrictions. VFW Post 782, attention! Veterans, 2 steps forward, march! Comrade Kevin.
Present.
Comrade Mark.
Present.
Comrade Bob.
Present.
Comrade Sarah.
Present.
Comrade Bob Tebow.
Here.
Comrade Floyd. Comrade Floyd Fitzpatrick. Comrade Floyd F. Fitzpatrick. Comrade Donald. Comrade Donald Foss. Comrade Donald K. Foss. Comrade Roland. Comrade Roland Mitchell. Comrade Don. Comrade Donald Nana. Comrade Donald J. Nana. Comrade Michael. Comrade Michael Peltier. Comrade Michael L. Peltier. Veterans, center face. Present arms. Order, arms. This concludes the Memorial Day commemoration for 2021. Thank you for attending.